So, welcome to yet another podcast. This is Rick Edwards, and I'm joined by Chris Niall, who we're still calling you the correspondent.
You can call me anything but late for dinner, mate. Whatever.
Of course, the wonderful podcast, the Windy Hill Windsock. We're not sure where that's at. There's a bit of a question mark there, isn't there, as we sit here today?
I believe the solution is kind of considering options, but yeah, let's. I don't think it's completely dead and buried, but I think we might be doing special guest appearances.
Well, that's true.
Whatever that means.
Yeah, that's true. I sincerely hope you guys do keep going. It was one of my favourite top 20 podcasts.
Thank you.
No.
Top 20, that's good of you.
No, it was a very good podcast, right up the top there. So today we're going to talk a few things. Just starting with, we're going to give a comprehensive analysis of the list by two blokes who know very little. We'll do our best. So we'll start off with number one, Andrew McGrath. What do you reckon, Chris? A tick or a cross?
Tick or cross?
Yeah, or a question mark?
Can we do 2 ticks?
2 ticks for McGrath? He had a couple of real standout games where he was quite influential, but he wasn't able to do that for a lot of the season. But he's really heading in the right direction, isn't he?
Yeah, completely. Yeah, I think he's no question.
Yep, that's an easy one. Tom Bell-Chambers, I've given him a tick. He got 2 Brownlow votes versus Richmond. He took a few contested marks, and the umpire loved him that day. At his best, he does that. He takes contested marks and hits to advantage, but when he's not on song, he just doesn't do much, does he?
When he's not on song, he's way out of tune.
He's way out of tune, yes. That's right, a bit of a million.
I give him half a tick, the first bit?
Half a tick. Give him half a tick. I think,
which is also half a cross.
That's right. It's half a cross. Very good. For early in the morning, we're pretty sharp. I think they will go with the 2-prong ruck attack initially, and then I envisage Draper going past him.
Yeah, completely. I think we're all on board with that one.
Darcy Parish.
Tick, particularly second half of the year. Because remember, he wasn't picked round 1, was he?
He wasn't. He missed out on round 1, didn't he? Yeah, that's right.
So was he worth 80 points?
Yeah, that's right. Would he have been the difference? That's right.
No, absolute tick for the second half of the year, and I think I'm sure you'll reiterate it. He's come in leaps and bounds. He's become the footballer that we thought he would be.
He has, and he's a goal kicking mid as well, which is really handy because we don't have a lot of those. He can still be a little bit sloppy with the ball in dangerous parts of the ground, i.e. the back line, which is not ideal.
He's not on his own there.
He wheels onto his left foot and doesn't hit the target that often. But yeah, he's a tick from me. Kyle Langford.
You go.
I reckon I give him a tick. We need to go into this one a little bit though. He still doesn't get a lot of it, but he's pretty unique for our midfield. We were just talking about being clean. He actually is clean, and he's probably our best kick for goal, which is another area that we're not really strong in. There were some biases. I think there still are some biases at the club. Some of the coaches, I think, don't really like him, but he's come on a bit, hasn't he?
Yeah, and look, I haven't heard Rutten what his view is, but I'd like to think that Rutten is favourably disposed, and in some respects we've got no choice but to hang on to him and see if he works. I mean, I like him, but the knocks are he's a bit slow, or he seems to be slow.
He looks slow, doesn't he? Yeah. But
he still plays some of his best footy though, playing up forward because he can mark the ball and kick it.
He can, yeah.
So, clearly he's a tick, as in, can play, has ability. He's just got to find. He's had 2 or 3 years where they're trying to find the best spot for him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yep. That's right. We've got Devon Smith and Joe Danaher. I'm giving them both crosses. We might as well talk about Joey now, though, I suppose.
Will he or won't he?
In the words of that famous song, should I stay or should I go?
Yeah. I think you and I are of a similar view that. Yeah, well, clearly you want him to stay, and I think that he most likely will. But at the end of the day, it's his call, and I was saying to you offline that I do understand, and not just him, but other players who've been in the same position. I kind of understand that they get to a point where they might need a fresh start. So I get that. I'm not saying I like it, but I get it.
No, you can understand that. He's had two frustrating years. I don't know. I've sort of gone from. I've changed my mind a few times on this, but I think he probably will stay in the end. Right at the moment, I understand he's overseas, so. But I'd say he's probably going to stay.
The media hype is massively overdone. That's what I suppose frustrates all of us.
Well, why do you think the media love to write about Joe Danaher?
Well, they like to write about any footballer of note that is clickbait, right? So
that's the magic word, clickbait. I think, yeah, definitely. Coming from a newspaper background, that's what it's all about. Just getting people to subscribe, I think.
And I mean, we'll touch on it in a minute. So we'll keep going through because there's another related story. So
yeah, Zach Merritt, number 7.
Tick.
Tick for you, yeah. Okay.
What? No tick.
This is controversial. Here we go. I give him a question mark. My question. My question is he?
Hey, listeners, I'd tune out now. This is going off the rails.
Is he as damaging as he should be? So he's going at 69%. Averages 4 clangers. Only 1 goal assist. They're not elite. He should be elite by now, Chris.
Yeah,
I reckon.
Well, look, we didn't define the tick and cross. I mean, I gave Andy McGrath double tick. I'll give this guy 1 tick, but he should be double tick.
Yeah, I think he had a good year, but I think he needs to be elite. He's not Neil. He's not Pendlebury yet, and that's where he needs to get to for us to be good. So,
yeah.
Marty Gleeson.
I'll give him a tick because. I know that did he play half the season and he came back after missing a year or what? I mean, we know he can play.
He played 9 games, went at 76. He's clean with the ball.
He's a great third tall.
He's a good third tall, isn't he? He can play on taller guys or smaller guys.
Yeah.
Yep. Dylan Shield.
Oh, absolute tick.
Yeah, he has to get a tick, doesn't he?
I mean, the disposal knock is still... like Merritt, but...
Merritt's 69, Shield is 66. 66 isn't great.
Yeah.
But there was a stat, this is not my stat, from Essendon Football Club site. He had 116 clearances from 22 games, which is overall 5th place for total clearances in a single season from an Essendon player.
So, no, absolute tick.
Yeah. Aaron Francis, I'd give him a tick. He played 17 games, 73%, uses the ball pretty well. I think the fact that he got through the season was a good thing because he has struggled, hasn't he, to string games together.
Probably the best thing that he got through the season. I was going to say, talking earlier about Danaher and Francis, the speculation of, and it just goes to show you how shit the media are, where they come out the day that he's announced, and the day he announces he's signing on for 3 more years, that same day, a journo on SEN said that they believe the two parties are, quite far apart.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. There was a stalemate or something. I know, unbelievable. No. That video was good too, wasn't it? Where they got Franger talking for about 5 minutes.
Yeah, look, he's not. He's an introverted guy and what have you. We know the struggles he's had over the last 5 years or 4 years. He's clearly happy. It's good.
It is good. Yeah, David Zaharakis.
Yeah, probably close to a cross, hey.
Well, I've given him a bit of grace, not because he was in my book.
Half tick?
I give him a question mark. 20 disposals, which is down from 26. So that's a bit of a drop, isn't it?
Yeah, I think, what is he, late 20s?
It's a good question. 29, 30?
Yeah. Unfortunately, for the role that he's played and the role that he needs to play, he either needs to be... Well, he played a bit off half-back, didn't he, this year?
He did play a little bit off half-back, didn't he?
Yeah, and I think they were trying to find a spot for him, but I think question mark is fair enough.
Fair enough. Mark Bagley, how do you assess him?
He's been serviceable, and I think he reinvented himself the last couple of years playing that forward pocket role, because he came from Frankston as mature age, back pocket.
Yep.
So we know he's retired. So I think he played 100 games maybe.
Yeah.
So end of the day, I think both parties benefited from each other's association.
Yeah, I think overall you give him a tick. He was across this year, but overall he gets a tick.
Yeah.
He was such a hard bugger, wasn't he, in early days? He just really put his body on the line playing deep in defence, wouldn't he?
Yeah. So, very serviceable and good luck to Daggers.
Yeah. Orazio Fantasia,
Oh, well, he gets a cross/question mark. I mean, clearly he should be a tick.
He should be a tick, shouldn't he?
Well, without doubt.
He had a couple of good games versus Northland Swans. He kicked 4 goals in both those games. That's the best of Orazio.
Isn't it funny how the media speculations all now pipe down about him leaving?
Well, actually, they've found an article. They've come up with another article today because the door was shut on Danaher by Dan Richardson yesterday.
Yeah.
It's funny, that, isn't it?
Anyway,
yeah.
Crazy.
They were hoping that he could push through his injury and perform, but he only got 1 goal in that elimination final. It didn't really come off, did it?
No.
That decision to play him instead of sending him into hospital.
Yeah. So I think whether we believe that Danaher's got some issues with how he was handled, I mean, there's a line of sight here that Fantasia's also been arguably mishandled on that front.
You got to say now that was a mistake, wasn't it, not to get him fixed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and those 2 players are top 5 players in our side, right?
Unquestionably top 5.
Well, our 2 best forwards.
Our 2 best forwards, yeah.
So,
yeah.
What the fuck?
That's right. We'll talk about injuries in a little bit. Next one is Ridley, Jordan Ridley.
Well, look, question mark. I mean, I like him, and I think you've seen him as well in the 2s, and they rate him. But he any footy he played was in that back line, so he was queuing up behind a whole lot of people. And I think the reserves side, you might know this better than I, they were trying him in other parts of the ground just to, on the wing and what have you.
Yeah, they tried him in the wing in the midfield.
Because he's always been that half back. It's like he's not going to get a game ahead of Francis and Gleeson.
No, he's not. No, but what is his weapon though? As a backman, he can't really shut down on someone. He doesn't intercept mark.
No, I mean,
I don't know.
I mean, I know, as I said from a few years ago, that they do rate him. He's a footballer.
He's a footballer. He uses the ball well. He went at 100% in that first game, that debacle against GWS. Not many others were very good that day.
So I think the next season is probably, it'll be very telling.
Yeah. Jaden Laverde, he's an interesting one.
Probably similar, right?
A good source told me that Hawthorn were into him last year and he was almost ready to go there before Essendon came late and signed him up. Be interesting to see if he does consider moving again.
Yeah, I think he look, whether he stays or goes, he's one that's right on the cusp.
I'm a bit worried about he just hasn't come on. He's been at the club 5 years now as a forward, and his highest goal kicking tally is 11 goals.
That says something, doesn't it? Like,
why haven't they tried him? He's only spent a total of 3 minutes in the midfield since he's been in Essendon. Why don't they play him more in the midfield? Why don't they look at him as a defender? Why don't we experiment?
I think clearly, if he was fit enough, and maybe that's the thing about midfield, he's got the size to do something in the midfield. I'd question whether he's got the character in the back line. But certainly put him in the midfield. Run him around, get him fit.
Yep.
So I haven't seen much of the 2s. Well, I did see. I mean, have they played him in the midfield of the 2s? But they should.
Hardly ever. Only cameos.
Yeah, they should.
Josh Begley, how do you rate him?
Oh, yeah. Question mark.
Question mark. Yeah. You've been generous. I'll give him a cross.
Yeah.
So he played 8 AFL games for 6 goals. He played 13 in the 2s for only 15 goals. Is that enough for VFL? I mean,
I still think he's only he's a younger kid. He's a big unit, but I just think his game clearly lacks the second and third dimension. Put it that way.
Well, he does lack something, doesn't he? He needs some more strings to his bow, doesn't he? We cut him some slack coming off ACL, I suppose.
Yeah.
James Stewart, this one's not going to take very long.
Cross.
He has to be a cross. He played 1 game in the VFL, and that was it.
He's been injured, but we can't carry a whole lot of players, right?
No. Gee, that word injury's coming up a lot. Michael Hurley, I've given him a tick. He had some decent games. He got torched by Kennedy in the middle of the year in Perth. He's kicking, I'd like him to be a better kick. He just doesn't hit the best target sometimes when he's kicking from pullback.
Well, I don't think he should be kicking from fullback. I think he should be the target we're going to.
I think that's a really good point. We should find someone else,
Or anyone else.
Kobe March.
You've got to give him a cross or question mark, don't you?
You do. He managed one game again. So, you know.
And that I word, injury.
Injury, yeah, that's right. Tell you what. Now, Zach Clark. Zach Clark, does he get a tick?
He gets a tick for showing up and a small tick for effort.
It's like one of those kids at primary school, the certificate for participating, don't you?
Best at training.
Best at training, that's right.
I think that 1 year experiment has to finish right.
It does. He averaged 3 clearances. This is remarkable. This will blow your mind. And his disposal efficiency was 70%.
Yeah, off a low base though, right?
That's all I got. I can't.
Two kicks and 2 handballs a game.
Yeah, that's right.
Let's say it was 4. So 3 out of the 4 hit their target.
Yeah, that's right. You know a bit about figures. If we were doing a ledger, it wouldn't look too good, would it?
And that set shot, 20 metres out.
He didn't hit one set shot for the year. He had 12. And he was 0 from 12. He was like me at the 3-point line in the 1990s.
So how do you go with 75% efficiency and he has none from 12?
I don't know. Who's coming up with these stats? Dyson Heppel?
Yeah, he's a tick.
He has to be a tick, doesn't he?
Does, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Heppel. I'll defend him all day long.
Yep.
But the bloke, had a bung foot, but just pushed through. At times he could be cleaner, but he's at the coalface and he does all right. Irving Mosquito,
question mark, but clearly comes, with high skill first year in.
Yeah, you probably have to give him a question mark. I was disappointed they didn't play him in the middle of the year before he started to get chronic hamstrings.
Remember he was named emergency once or twice.
Yeah, that's right. So he's close.
And then he pinged the hammy.
Yeah, a lot of people were saying, he's too light. He's too small. West Coast played a bloke called Jared Cameron, same age, 70 kilos. Mosquito is actually 72 kilos. I think we could have played him. I think we should have got some games into him. The West Coast got 6 games or something into Cameron.
Anyone knocking the size of Mosquito clearly didn't see Michael Long when he first played.
Well, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Should have got some games into the boy. Now his career's over with chronic hamstrings, but anyway, too late. David Myers.
He's hung him up, but injury crawled, pretty much most of his 10 years, bar about 1 or 2.
Yeah, he just had an unlucky run, didn't he?
Yeah. Always liked him as a player. We all loved his left foot.
Yep. I loved his attitude too. When he went back to the VFL,
Yeah.
he said, "Look, this is fine. I'm happy for younger players to have their shot in the AFL."
Yeah. So well done to Mizey and good luck.
Yep. Jordan Houlihan is clearly a cross, that one.
Yeah, he's been cut.
He's been cut. Yeah. We're not going to mount a defence.
Yeah, I mean, could take a hanger. God.
He could.
I saw the one in the reserves. He stood on someone's head.
He was on top of the shower stand at Windy Hill. He was that high. Yeah.
Higher than Joe Cocker. That.
Higher than Willie Rioli.
I was so annoyed he didn't get goal of the year. That was so contrived by the AFL on the Brownlow Medal night. There was no way he was getting goal of the year, and everybody was voting for him. He
was. Yeah. Of course.
And he's now been done twice.
He's now been done twice, hasn't he? Yeah. So there you go, poor Willie. Yeah. Jake Stringer. What do you reckon?
Oh, tick, absolutely.
Yeah, he has to get a tick, doesn't he? Yeah. I liked his work, not just kicking goals, but his defensive work. I think, his tackling and his intent was pretty good.
Yeah. I think he's been a good recruit.
He has. Cale Hooker.
Look, he's kind of somewhere between a question mark and a tick. I mean, he's a great player. He played a very bad, elimination final. But we know how critical he is for the structure and defence. His
back was shot. He looked like one of those blokes on a work cover ad. He couldn't move very very freely at all.
So what's the point? I mean, I know they have Kennedy and whatever but anyway.
Yeah, no, I think probably a tick, but yeah, it was sort of almost a question mark. Mason Redmond was one of the success stories. Big tick for him. He played 20 games, and he was another one that had a lot of injuries like Francis, but was able to string some games together, which was super important. Yeah, he was impressive.
He's a new crowd favourite, the old Red Dog.
The Red Dog, yeah. He uses the ball really well, doesn't he, off halfback?
Yeah, he does. So I think he's as you said, he's a big tick.
Yep. Mitch Brown, who is unsigned right at the moment.
Question mark?
I think the club think it's a question mark, don't they? Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah. Oh, he's been good, hasn't he? Against some teams, against maybe some of the elite teams, he doesn't show up.
Yeah.
You know, so
He runs a lot, put a lot of miles. But you're right. Half his games are serviceable, and then there's a good chunk that's where the hell is he?
Where the hell is he? That's right. Get the binoculars out. Patrick Ambrose, I think he's a tick. He had some good shutdown roles.
Yep.
I think Ben Rutten loves the bloke because he's one of those really good role players, and Rutten likes role players.
Yep, I agree. Like him. He's got the tank.
Yes, yeah. Brandon Zerk-Thatcher only played one game, but I'll give him a tick. I thought he was good over in... I was almost going to say Subiaco, but they don't play there anymore. Over in Perth.
Yeah, I think you and I have seen a bit of his work in the reserves, and he is he's a clone of Cale Hooker.
He's a Cale Hooker clone, isn't he? He's got good hands, hasn't he? Yeah. Noah Gown, I'll probably give him a tick. He did okay in the reserves. He's got some good hands. He can take a pack mark as well. We haven't got a lot of those blokes.
I think he just needs to get fit, doesn't he?
Needs to get fit,
Doesn't look fit.
Doesn't look fit, no. So, you think he had stress fractures, which sort of ended his season.
Injuries.
There we go again. Braden Ham.
Pressed ham. Braden Ham.
What do you reckon?
I actually like him. I like his speed and his endurance because he's an 800-metre state runner or something.
Is he? Is that right? Yeah, okay. Yeah,
He's got great speed. He's tiny.
He's tiny, but he gets up and down the ground, doesn't he? He covers a lot of...
I'd prefer to say tick than question mark.
I'd give him a tick as well. I thought he did okay. He kicked a goal in his first AFL game, and I think they need to persevere with him. They need to get games into him next year. Hopefully they play him 15, 20 games.
Yeah.
Jake Long.
Cross.
Long he's played 5 games now for us, and his first year was 2016. He turns 24 in February. I can't see how he doesn't get delisted.
I think he's off to the VAFA.
The VAFA?
VAFA.
The Amos, yeah. Have you heard something there? Or?
No, but clearly we were talking earlier about list cloggers.
Yeah.
We as a club, more than most, we can't afford to carry these people.
No, that's right. And I want to touch on list management. Yes, soon. You're right. We can't carry these sort of guys. Matt Guelphy.
Yeah, I give him a tick. I like his. I think we like his mongrel and his intent, and he's only second year on the list.
Yep, I give him a question mark. I thought his first year was actually better than his second year.
Injured,
yeah, that's right. Michael Hartley, where do you think he?
Again, a bit like Baggers, hasn't played as many games, but serviceable. Came into the club when the club needed to find someone who could play a key defensive role, and top fella. Thanks for your contribution.
You think he's out the door now? Or?
Yeah.
Out the door, yeah, okay. I think they might hang on to him just as a key position depth. As you say, he did do okay when they brought him in, so he did his job. Dylan Clark?
Tick.
Yeah, I'll give him a tick as well. I think we should play a tagger virtually every game. I think,
Case in point, right?
Yeah.
Most of his games he played well, and he played as a tagger.
Yeah.
That'd be fucking nice.
That's right. So we've got to. Hopefully, he gets even fitter and becomes the fittest bloke at the club, and has a crack in 2020. Sam Draper obviously is a cross. Trent Minott is a cross for me. He didn't come on in my mind.
Yeah, well, he's only playing 2s, right? So he may be.
He hasn't got close to.
He may be delisted.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Will Snelling, what do you reckon?
For a bloke that came to the club mid-season, played. How many games did he play? 3 or 4 or 5?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
So tiny, solid though, chunky.
Chunky. Yeah, low to the ground. Yeah.
I think he did as well as anyone could have done coming into any club environment mid-season.
Yeah, it's a tough gig, isn't it, coming in mid-season? That final against West Coast, he hit 2 goals. He went at 91%.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone went over 75% that day.
And we'll touch on this in a minute. As we said, it's about list management. We keep on recruiting these blokes who are like 5'3".
We do. That's true. But at least he can play. Ben McNeese, he tried hard, but ultimately he was always going to get delisted.
Yeah.
Adam Sard.
Tick.
Yeah, Tick. He had a great year.
He got no Brownlow votes, is that right?
He got no... I had a bet. I had $5 on him to get a Brownlow vote. And the bloke didn't get any, you know. So umpires fed him, you know.
How could they not notice him?
How could they not notice him? You know, like that goal against Hawthorn, he drifted forward and hit that goal from 55 metres. I mean, I thought that was enough.
And yet Tipper gets all these votes.
Tipper, he does. That's a nice segue. Anthony McDonald, Tipper Moody. he is a barometer. When he plays well, we don't shit the bed.
Yeah. So, no, big tick.
Big tick. The thing with Waller for me is he fit enough to play midfield? I think they need to put the heat on him, just like Geelong did with Gary Ablett after 2006. They got players in a circle around him and they told him to get fit so that he could run through the midfield. I think we need to do that with Waller. He's our best ball user.
Yeah, remember a couple of times this year, even late in the season, when he went in the middle, like extracted it kind of behind his back.
Yeah, that's right.
Mate, no turtles in the off season.
No turtles, no.
Stay off the turtles.
Yeah, that's right. Get to another level and let's play him in the midfield. Jake Stringer, Corey McKernan.
Sean. Okay.
Sean McKernan, thank you.
Corey McKernan, big tick.
I give him a cross. I didn't even see Corey at the club this year. Why are we playing?
I saw him on Twitter supporting his brother.
He did support his brother, he's been very active. But Sean, what do we think?
He's in the Mitch Brown bucket, right?
He is in the Mitch Brown bucket.
I mean, he has the best hands. When he's clunking him, he is the best grab. And he has the periscope, so they're straight up. You know how most have their arms a bit bent?
He's straight up.
Sorry, it's
periscope.
So it's a visual.
It's a visual, yeah, that's right. It's a big gulf, isn't it? You know, really between his best and his worst. If Joe Danaher does go, he's going to have to be better more often next year.
Yeah.
Connor McKenna, the wee Irishman.
Yeah, tick.
Yeah, tick. I wonder if we can move him into the midfield.
Yeah, he's a solid body. So.
Solid body, yeah, that's right. Doesn't mind a bit of physicality.
He's got the
burst away, beautiful kick.
Angry pills.
Angry pills, yeah.
He's a good kick though, isn't he?
He's a good kick, isn't he? Well, we need more good kicks in the midfield, I think. So
surprisingly, football, we need good kicks.
Isn't it? It's funny. Good kicks.
Who would have thought?
Who would have thought? Tom Jock, what do you think?
I think we've seen only tiny bits of him, but again, he can run.
He can run.
Got to learn the game.
That one game he played, he ran 15.5 kilometres. Admittedly, he did get stuck in traffic in the city, so I left a car and ran to... I don't know if they counted that. But that was further than anyone else. And also his game-high average for moving speed, whatever that was, that was good. So all the figures, he was elite for that one game he played. He's worth persevering with because we haven't got many blokes who can run as much as him.
No, and he just needs to learn, the game.
Yep.
So we know, no question marks, no question of his athletic ability, as you said.
No. A last bloke is Matt D, and that might lead us into list management, or what I like to call bad list management. So Matt D, obviously cross. I'm not sure we should have really played D. I know that he has some fans out there, and they're probably listening now. But the bloke was unlikely to play a game. And I know that they got him back for another year because what he brings in terms of culture, and he's a good citizen and that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But couldn't we surely employ a bloke in the back office who is a good citizen as well, you know, and drives players to medical appointments and all the other things he does?
Yeah, it's probably a good point. I mean, as we've alluded to, going through name by name, we always seem to have this smattering, or a better than small smattering of players who are clogging up the list.
There's no way we should have gone into this year with D, Long and Houlihan all on the list.
Definitely not D and Long, I mean.
No.
So, and I mean, I don't forensically look at every other list, but I just have, as I said earlier, I just have this predisposition that we seem to be worse than anyone at hanging on to players.
We hang on. I call it the Jarrett effect, the Jackson Merritt effect. He was at the club for 7 years, for 56 games.
Yeah, it's, and like as you and I both know, it's the kind of also the Dean Wallace Kevin Walsh. But Kevin Walsh, cracking bloke, lives up in North Fitzroy. But, that same kind of thing. The players are hanging around for 10 years for 100 games.
No, we're not we're not ruthless enough, I don't think, with our list management.
No, it's a very competitive industry, as we know, and there's no space, unfortunately, for sentimentality. It's like, which is the Jake Long piece.
It is sentimentality, and we both love Longy. We would have loved him to make a career, and he's done okay when he has played ones. But
and his cousin looks pretty good at St Kilda.
His cousin does look pretty good, doesn't he? Yeah. So I reckon there might be a couple more dead listings before the deadline. Wanted to talk a bit about injuries. We have covered it a little bit already. I just wanted to compare Tom Lynch, the Richmond player, not the other Tom Lynch, and Joe Danaher. They both came into 2019 under sort of injury clouds. Tom Lynch with his bum knee and Joey with his groin. How did their pre-season go? Well, Lynch was good. Joey did a 6-week calf in March. How does that happen? It was terribly disappointing. And then, of course, for the season, Danaher plays 4 games and Lynch plays 22.
Every game, right?
Every game.
Some might say kissed on the dick, mate.
That's right. It tells a story, doesn't it? And James Stewart, we've mentioned him. He only played 1 VFL game. How could we have 2 players with OP who are both 25 at the peak of their career? Does that happen anywhere else?
Both key forwards.
Both key forwards. Yeah.
No, I don't have any answers other than, as we said earlier, the question marks over the medical, team advice, rehab, should be a well and truly front and centre.
I think there has to be, a spotlight on that part. I'm not going to single out blokes. I don't know whether it's doctors or high performance people, but certainly that whole department there needs to be.
Justin Crowe, is not to mention names. We know he's leaving, so he was there for 9 years.
Yeah,
he's again not wanting to point it directly at him, but it's under his watch, right?
Under his watch, that's right. He's moving on. So I think the other thing too is preparation. Now, our blokes fair income enough in terms of preparation. Listening to Nat Fyfe, he talks about preparation being sort of a key to him being the player he is. He does he goes above and beyond during the week. It's what you do. When you're not playing the game, away from the game, those other days, the 6 days.
Yeah.
Do we prepare as well as we should? I don't know.
I think guys like Zach Merritt do. And you hear the stories of, and I think, Heppel and Tipper. So I think you're right, though, as a general observation, and when teams are recruiting in players, half of the work they do is around, it's the non-football stuff, right?
Yeah.
You want to find the majority of players that are going to work hard.
Yeah, we do. That's right. You want to, and this goes to the other point that I wanted to look at was culture. Is there a culture problem at Essendon Football Club or not?
I think. Look, I don't know. I don't think so. But then I think there's. I don't think there's this overriding cultural problem. There's certainly. I don't know. What do you think?
I've heard. I have heard that there are some players that just don't buy into the whole team game thing. That sort of ethos. I think that's a bit of a worry. Sort of hearing that sort of stuff.
I mean, if that's the case, then you can't have those kind of players. It's a team game, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and some blokes just get treated a little bit differently, perhaps. That's what I've been hearing. But bloke like Matt De Boer is interesting. GWS talk about him. Obviously, he's a great tag, but they also talk about him in terms of being a quality bloke, and that was one of the reasons they got him in 2017. So
I've heard through people I know that absolute same story on him. That I think he pretty much approached the club as well, because he was West Coast, wasn't he?
Fremantle,
and he approached them to say he could perform this kind of role. Basically, put his hand up to say, I'll play a tagging role, etc., etc.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, exactly. So I think maybe we need more sort of Matt De Boers, I suppose, in terms of bringing the right culture there. I think there has to be something wrong when we had those 2 games, first against Port, and then we backed up after that against the Bulldogs.
Yeah.
That just doesn't sit right with a team that's half decent. How could we serve up those 2?
Well, equally the round 1 and round 2.
round one and round two, exactly.
And yeah, look, the Giants are a very good side. We knew that at round one. We know that now. But I think all of us at the time were, it's the first game of the season. Surely, the players, either singular or as one, are fired up because it's the first game of the season.
Yeah, that was extremely disappointing, that first game. There was just no reason for that. Then the next game against St Kilda, that they really should have taken care of St Kilda. I remember at the club that week, leading up to the St Kilda game, they called it Shark Week internally, that they were going to go out and hunt, and they were really ordinary in that game as well.
Yeah.
So you're quite right that there's been some just dead set abysmal games, and it just goes to the culture, I think, of the club.
Well, I also think that particularly the second game against the Saints, I think some of the reasons, if you're looking for reasons, it's got to sit with the coaching staff.
It does have to sit. Yeah.
What did they sit down and do? Shark Week after that big loss.
That was the thing. Yeah.
What the fuck, guys? So clearly there's a lack of engagement between the two parties, players and coaches.
Yeah.
To deliver that round two. I think the round two result was worse than round one.
Oh, that's probably fair. I think that there is something going on. I think there. So I don't know what it is. I'm just an outsider. I'm not in the club. I don't have good sources or anything. But I just think that there's something going on there, and they need to work on the off season on a lot of things. But I think the culture and getting everyone on the same page. And
I do hear good things about Rutten.
Yeah. What do you think? That's a good move?
I know that he's involved in, whether it's his kids' footy teams or whatever, other outside the club, and that the feedback from those, and this is only a tiny little microcosm, but the feedback I've heard from people who have come across him have said, everyone rates him, the players like him. So I think that I'm a fan of the announcement that they made the other week, because I think we all knew that Worsfold was going home. And the club just had to sit down with Worsfold and work out the plan. And I think the plan that they've come up with was exactly as I thought they were trying to do about a month ago.
Yeah, yep. I think it is a good plan too, isn't it, really? I mean, Rutten is only going to be better by having that year with sort of one hand on the wheel.
Yeah. And we've seen him at the, reserves games. He's, he's there. He's just soaking it all in. So I think, and, lo and behold, Adelaide... their coach decides to resign, a week or two after, and you've still got a gap at Adelaide, a gap at Freo. We know, rightly or wrongly, that we lost Goodwin to Melbourne.
Yes, yeah.
And I think the club did they kind of jump at shadows? I don't think they did, but I can understand people thinking they may have.
Oh, some people will think that as well, that they did jump at shadows. But like you say, he seems impressive. He seems to be good at building relationships. So I'm quite happy about that appointment.
Yeah, I think because Worsfold, again, I think we most agree that he's probably not the guy he was the right guy for the last 4 or 5 years. I don't think many of us believed he was the right guy to lead us to, the next premiership.
No, probably not to the next level. He came in at the club when we were at our lowest ebb, probably, and held things together. And we're grateful to.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So, mate, I think that's probably about it. We probably need to touch on the grand final. We've got some tips for it.
What do you think, mate?
Oh, I think
anybody but Collingwood, so it's fine. I don't care.
I just want GWS to win. That's what I'm hoping for. It's the old Kevin Sheedy connection, isn't it? It'd be great to win for Sheeds.
I think I've said the same. My mother is born and bred Richmond, so she's just over there. Another visual, sorry.
We're looking. Can we see the MCG from where we are?
Yeah, I can, mate. Yeah, it's nice. Yeah. I think that I'd like the Giants to win only on the basis if they have to win one, right, or two, this year, next year. So would you I'd rather that they win this one, and let's say in 2 years' time, what if we're playing in the grand final and the likely opponent might be the Giants? I'd rather them be, have already won a premiership, not relying on winning their first premiership next year or the year after against maybe us.
That's right. Let's get it out of the way now, and we can beat them in a couple of years. Yeah.
One of my brothers got a bet that they'll win 3 premierships in the next 6 years.
Has he? Hope he hasn't got a house on that.
I think it's a $5, mate. So.
Oh, that's right. $5s are okay. So that's about it. Anything else we need to cover?
No, it's a trade week.
We've got trade week coming up. Yeah. So
I think
don't believe anything you've read in the newspapers.
No, well, really, for us, it's around Joey, and that's about it, isn't it? I mean, everyone else has signed on. Well, I mean, he's signed on anyway, but
yeah, he's signed on, hasn't he? Yeah. I think we've got all our the main players that we need. We signed up Francis. So there's just a couple left.
Well, Tipper was done. Francis was done.
Yeah.
So, mate, no, look, hopefully it's a good game on. I think it will be a good game because they're probably both. If you think about, Giants should have finished top 4.
Yep.
And I think both those teams are playing better football than Geelong, and I'd say they're playing better footy than Brisbane. Brisbane played great footy at home, but I think we've probably got the two best sides. Maybe West Coast is the third one.
I think so. I think we've got two sides that are in really good form as well. So
a red hot crack.
Yeah, they'll have a red hot crack.
Pretty brutal in the.
Yeah, Gito, is to play a physical type of game. That's what's needed, isn't it, in the grand final? We've had some interstate teams come over here and just get blown away on the last day in September, like Fremantle a few years ago.
Yeah.
I think GWS will do okay.
So I might have a couple of dollars on Toby Green for Norm Smith.
Yeah. How many Mumford? How many punches will he deliver?
Because this will be his last game, won't it?
Well, I reckon he should tell blokes it's his last game,
he
just
could,
to instill some fear into them.
He'll be doing a big Carl Dittrich, mate.
Carl Dittrich. Remember Alistair Lynch in the grand final against Wakeland? Yeah.
Imagine if Mummy came out with a Carl Dittrich, the white, the big headband. Sorry, there's a lot of people who listen who won't even know who that is, but
that's right. Yeah, so it might be a haymaker Saturday.
Because Alistair Lynch was just throwing.
Cut lunches all day.
And because he got suspended, didn't he?
He got 16 weeks or something like that. If he didn't care, he was in Bali or something. So,
a bit like TD in 1990, mate.
TD in 1990. We might see some fireworks. That's our tip. Yeah.
So I think you're right with Mumford. Look, anything could happen.
That's right.
To say he'll be throwing his weight around is an understatement.
That's right. Yeah.
Right. All good, mate.
All right. Thanks for our loyal supporters and even those that aren't loyal. And that's probably about it for us for this year. Thanks again.
See you next year.